We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content, and we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel because we care.
Like this.
Ah, hello.
Hello.
You look fantastic, Dark Phoenix.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't control it.
Oh, wow. I don't know what exactly happened, why Frey dropped out and Rubik just moved over, but it was just the perfect timing.
It blew her away.
I mean, also, I don't know, for some reason it's getting all that green screen there. It's very strange. So it like disappears.
It's kind of funny that like this would constitute as a green screen. Like I'm literally wearing everything but green, so
right.
Rubik's literally blew you out of the system with the booby shaking.
It's because you're so massive that they defy green. It's like, oh, we must make these boobs.
But no, I'm here now.
Unreal,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, we were excited that you were excited about your new boobs.
Yes, these are brand new. I got them last week. They are not nearly as dangerously heavy as my last ones or as hard. Man, so it's kind of nice and like I can walk up and you're like, oh my god, they feel like so squishy and real. I'm like, yeah, touch them. I can't feel shit.
It's like the stress balls they have like at schools and stuff.
Yes.
If you get frustrated at a show, you can just use that.
It was
well,
like
what I like about them though is I don't think they'll hurt your back nearly as much.
I mean,
because that could be why you're having some of the back pain that you're having.
Possibly. Again, my prayers go out to the girls with the big girls because it's a thing.
Well, how is everybody doing tonight, Miss Aubrey? How are you?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, is it just me, or is this like last full moon like knocked us into a whole emotional sphere of just like everything is like, oh my god, on the verge of a mental breakdown for me lately?
Yeah, well, it's I'm doing car shopping because my car crapped out, and like I've been doing for the last few. And so I went and bought a car yesterday.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, congratulations.
No, I have a feeling it's not that good.
I started driving it home.
If she started with that, I'm pretty sure that it's going downhill. So.
Oh, sorry.
By the time I got into the freeway, my whole right leg was numb.
What?
By the time I got home, my whole right side was all numb.
What happened?
The car, I don't know, but whatever it was, it really like was the joint in my hip. It was something was digging into it and caused it. Now it's all swollen and it hurts. Like, so I was in pain last night, like really bad pain last night. Like I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, I hate this car. Like by the time I got home, I was like, please get me out of this car. I hate this car. I do not want this
was
car.
it like something like just jutting out at you, or was it just like a weird angle you were sitting at or something?
It was just all bad. I don't know. Like it caused my legs, like how it was sitting, just to kind of turn in like this way in a way. And like my foot was like on the gas pedal, but it was like this. It was a Honda Fit. And I, when I test drove it, I just test drove it for like 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, this is fine. And I really wanted this Honda Accord I was looking at, but it had a salvage title, and the Honda Fit had a clean title. So I'm learning about all these things. So, so I went with the Honda Fit because it was cheaper. It was it was a better. I felt like it was a better deal. It was older. It was a 2015 versus a 2017. But I was like, okay, that's fine. It's within my budget. It's actually good. The payments were really good. So that's why I went with that one, even though I liked the Accord better. So, but then as I was driving home with this, I'm like, I'm really trying to love this car and I hate it.
Oh, well, you could always go back and give it back. You have like
I did.
Okay, good.
But I did. I went the next morning and they charged me a $500 restocking fee.
That's ridiculous.
Damn.
You should charge them for medical bills.
Oh God, right. Well, I mean, the best thing you just do is not do. They claim non processing. I mean, there were other things that were actually wrong with the car. So we noticed that there was a light, the low tire indicator on there. Mm-hmm. We're like, could you guys please check the tire to make sure the tires, like, fill them up and just check to see, make sure they don't have a leak. Like, because that should not be happening.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. No
so all they did was they reset it. So when I drove it off the lot, 2 lights down, the light comes right back on.
Yeah.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah.
I mean, I got sort of talked into the car, and I was like thinking, I don't want this car one time. So I never should have gone through with it, but it's just what it is what it is. I mean, I'm still on the car lookout for a car. Yay!
So
we will keep our eyes open for you.
Thank you. So that was my day. My back is starting to feel better at least.
Graveyard, you got an extra car you can sell, Aubrey?
No, I mean my oldest will be turning driving age in about 3 years, so I'll keep any cars.
Technically, I got a little blue Hyundai I could unsaddle. I want Vespas.
Vespas are nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can go chow, chow, chow.
Yeah. So if I could find a adequate Honda Accord or a Kia or Toyota, I'd be pretty happy.
Under 12,000, good luck.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Well, no, it'd be up to like 15, maybe even 16,000.
Okay, well, that's doable. That's doable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Scott or Logan? Oh God, Daddy. Logan. It's all about Logan. He can claw me any day. Oh.
Yeah, I would say Logan. Logan was always the choice for me. I didn't like Scott.
No,
I thought he was a pompous asshole.
See, if Aaron was on right now, he would be so offended. Cyclops is his boy.
With Aaron.
Ditch them both and just be by yourself for a while.
Heck yeah. Actually, no. You know who I would totally do? I Gambit all the way. I'm a Gambit.
Oh hell yeah, Gambit. Yeah. I changed my vote.
Look,
if that was on the table, I would
almost
have
all
said
of the X-Men have some pretty substantial red flags for me, so
that's why I like him.
I don't know. Apparently, I like the dark and broody types because, like, Nightcrawler was my favorite, and so is Gambit.
So we're saying Fourzze a mutinist?
No, I just said all the X-Men. You know, I'm not saying I'm not, you know.
Hey, all I can say is Colossus could smash this all day too. Just
You're gonna have to fight Deadpool for him, though. Apparently.
Yeah. I'll take him too.
Deadpool, yes. Into that. That's okay.
wait, Aubrey, wait. If Nightcrawler,
yes,
Aubrey, if Nightcrawler was real, could you make it with a blue person with he's got like 3 toes, right? 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are extra big fingers.
I guess that's a lot you can do.
All you need
and he's
got a tail. And
He's awesome. He can teleport.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
He's good. He can teleport. That's
Yeah.
if I were
Disconcerting
to
saying Dark Phoenix is my favorite now.
The red flags, it would probably
They disconcerting.
It'd be who?
He's the most sane.
Which one? Who?
Nightcrawler. I heard.
Nightcrawler is the most sane. I mean, Beast is awesome too, but I would just love to have conversations with him. I'd love to have all the conversations.
Really weird dark side.
Yes, but I just mean his intellectual side. I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, as a man, I would love to have conversations with because he's so smart.
Although the young Professor X, I might hit that a couple times.
Yeah.
That should have been the topic tonight. Which X-Men would you smash?
You know, if Morph the crazy Morph is pretty awesome. I like Morph, but unfortunately he went nuts. That sucks. And I do like Angel as well. I think Angel is just hot as fuck.
Before or after Apocalypse got hold of him?
Before. But I mean, even after Apocalypse got hold of him, I mean, he's still banging.
Yeah, but you know, I'm telling you, you're in an intimate moment, and and you guys are having a moment, and it's getting heated, and then suddenly his wings with all the knives come out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, knives are sexy, but
with these knives.
Swordplay is great.
What's
I don't know
that
what
whole
you're talking about.
Post-apocalypse where he got his feather wings back, but still the blue skin?
Mm-hmm. He did.
I'm taking that version. That's the one I'll have. Thank you.
There you go.
See, blue skin doesn't bother me.
No, yeah, no. I would.
Ooh, say Wong is saying Emma Frost or Mystique.
Mystique.
Well, I mean, if you do,
she could be anybody you want.
I was gonna say, if you have Mystique, she could be Emma Frost for you.
Yeah.
Right. Or she could be. I'm every woman.
Yeah, she could be.
That's exactly it. I mean, yeah, I'd have to go with the Mystique because she could just be anybody. She could pretend to be anyone. I like the Mystique. When I had my blonde hair, I could cosplay Emma. Oh hey! Hello, new person.
What is up, Miss Shanti? You came in at the perfect time. We were talking about which X-Men we would bang.
Oh, okay. That's funny because I actually just cosplayed Dark Phoenix too. That's so cool to see that right now. Like,
he's a badass character. What can we say?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was fun working on that. Yeah.
Oh man, I really want to see it. I want to see your cosplay now. That'd be awesome.
Isn't that good? That gold.
Oh yeah, I didn't know someone was gonna be dressed up. I probably would have put on a little something, you know.
You never know with Rubik's who you're gonna get that night.
Yeah, I don't ever know. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to link with you later, and then we could talk some cosplay, girl.
Absolutely.
I keep telling him telling her I want to get together and do that. Do cosplay stuff.
Rubik's actually runs. Well, Rubik's, why don't you, because you actually have why don't you tell people really quickly? Oh, and I want to mention too our fundraiser that we have going, but why don't you talk about, you didn't just have that, did you, or is that up and coming?
No. So the fundraiser we have coming up is on the 22nd.
Okay.
It's going to be at the same club that I do my show at on Wednesdays. It's another Wednesday that we don't typically will perform at the end of the month. But because it's for Pride, we are doing a whole pasta dinner deal. It comes with a choice of either Alfredo, red meat pasta, or a pesto, Caesar salad, and garlic bread. It's $30. It comes with the show. And we're also doing to-go. People just want to swing by to support but don't want to stay for the show. They can still buy the dinner for $25.
Oh wow, fantastic.
And we will make it worth it. Trust. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Wonderful. And that's this Wednesday, right?
No, that's going to be Wednesday the 22nd.
Oh,
so this upcoming Wednesday is our Broadway theme show, and then we're going to roll right into the following week with the fundraiser.
By the way, I asked for the 19 off. 19.
Yay! Okay, so the 19th is the day that we are planning our Comic-Con because Fourzze is coming.
Yeah, Fourzze is coming.
Speaking of which, where is Fourzze? I heard something about
he's in South Carolina.
Yeah,
he's in South Carolina.
He's living his best life right now. He's out on the beach.
Okay, well, he can live his best life. That's fine.
Okay.
I know. I will mark that on my calendar and make sure it's the most epic thing. I'm planning some kind of number with this, but I don't know what song other than "This Girl Is a Fire."
That is a good one.
That was nice.
You could do fireworks.
That's more Jubilee.
I know
that's Jubilee. That's Jubilee all the way.
Something dark and sinister, like bitch, I will destroy you. But
what about Rise of the Phoenix by Tenacious D?
There's that one.
Oh,
that's nice.
Thought we'll see.
Shante, you have a particular you got a particular X-Men that's on your hit list?
On my hit list? Well,
who could get it? Who could get it?
Shoot. I mean, honestly, I want to do She-Hulk. I just don't know what version of She-Hulk I want to do, but it's just that paint, you know what I mean? Because I did Gamora before, and it was just, it was just too much. It's like by the end of the day, I just, I don't know if I was green, gray, or whatever color, but I gotta definitely get some better paint. But I do want to do She-Hulk. I just kind of feel like, I want that to be like my summertime one. I just don't know. I want to do comic book or cartoon. I just don't know.
Right. Well, this is
which one would you smash? That was the question.
Which X-Men would you smash?
X-Men. Well, see, I had to say She-Hulk real quick, but X-Men. I feel like I've done almost everybody, but I haven't done.
No. We're talking about having sex.
No.
Who would you sleep with from the X-Men?
Who would you have sex with in the X-Men?
Y'all asking me the same question. I can't hear you.
Who would you have sex with in the X-Men?
I'll have sex with? Oh, whoa. I didn't hear that
part. That's why we said smash. But, verbally.
Oh. Dang, there's so many people I'd like to do that.
It's fine. It's
fine. No, really, seriously, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I want to be with Jubilee. I don't know. I just feel like it would be fun. I don't know.
She's definitely caused some sparks.
But it's like, it's good. So it's like, But I don't know. Wolverine, I think I don't know. I'd be scared to do that, but I definitely would. I think I can handle him.
Couldn't
for real. Yeah, I think I can. I don't know for sure, but I'll try.
Handle who? Sorry, I missed who it was.
What was that?
Logan.
I missed who? Logan. Yeah, I think everyone wants to smash Logan. Okay.
Graveyard.
Not everybody wants to do that.
Not everybody.
No,
but...
I have issues with it. He's got a lot of red flags, and also the claws that come out of him. He gets a little excited, and those claws come out. You can have some major damage. I'm just saying, to the house, to yourself.
He's got he's got control enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like smashing Worf from Star Trek.
But
not Star Trek, Lord.
I can join anytime, man.
Y'all got me really thinking. I'm like really thinking about some names right now. This is crazy.
You got right where you got. Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice question.
I think Van's trying to get us started like 5 times now. Let's go, Van.
I asked her to be on the show, but she had no idea what KCAD actually was. We just talk about smashing imaginary characters.
We are mad down here. Mad and ADHD.
All right, so I guess this would be really good segue into our actual topic for tonight, or one of our 2 topics, and this is legislation against drag shows and trans people. So there has been legislation recently that is, it seems to be gathering strength in the South, trying to ban a lot of drag shows, in just transgender rights, just in general. But it seems like a very, very slippery slope. I've had even cosplayers say, where does it end? Where do they say that you cannot dress? If I'm a man, but I want to dress as a female character, that's a cartoon character, or if you're a woman and you want to dress, as Superman to go to a Comic-Con, is that going to be considered drag as well? In fact, Rubik's, this is how you and I first met. We talked about, our conversation was about the difference between cosplay and drag. Where were they the same and where they were different? And now we're seeing this really come to legal situations. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't want to talk over anyone, but like, I kind of, I live in the cosplay community. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty big part of it. And me personally, I mean, I'm not drag, but I don't really see too much of a difference. I kind of feel like I don't know why people would trip. I don't know why it's turned into something like if a man wants to dress up as a woman and go to a Comic-Con, he should be able to do that. And, vice versa. I don't think that it should even be labeled like that. I just think that it's like everyone is dressing up how they feel or it's coming from their heart and they should be able to have a good time wherever they are and they shouldn't be treated any different. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
No, that's
I agree.
Great. No,
I mean, I kind of go, where's the end? Like, I'm wearing kind of a masculine suit right now, so I got my zoot suit hat because I'm wearing my vest and my shirt.
Thank you
like
for
my
trying,
suit.
Aubrey. We appreciate it.
I was trying.
She said, thank you for trying.
Yeah. You know what? Don't hate on me, Frey.
I love you. You know that.
I know you do. No, but I would say that, like, yes, and now we got Phoenix here. I would say that, like, the whole thing is like, where would that end, though? Does that mean, like, are women going to be too masculine for wearing pants and, like, masculine clothing? Like, how does that end? And that's a big issue. Because it's just going to have unforeseen. Actually, maybe it is seen because then they can argue, like, clothing. I mean, they just want us to go back to the 40s.
Women should only wear dresses that cover their ankles.
Don't show your ankles.
Don't say that's the 20s. They want to go. They want to take us back all the way to the Dark Ages, basically.
Yeah, no, I'm not going back.
Where women can't even. Yeah,
no.
they ain't going back. Women can't even hold a credit card.
As Jane Fonda said on The View, we ain't going back.
Hell no.
We're gonna murder them.
Okay, you gotta put that neck in it too, girl. Like, no, we not. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I feel the same. Like, where does it stop? If this happens, where does it stop? We've already had some things reversed that shouldn't have been, and now they're just going on to the next thing. They've got this checklist of exactly, if you're not, straight, male, white, then, oh, well, you don't have any rights. And I feel that that's really what it is. They don't like women. They don't like people who actually are listening to themselves and listening to their hearts and being who they really are supposed to be. And it's just ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. It triggers me. I am on Twitter all the time about this, and I just want to punch people in the digital face. So
I heard that.
Also asked where the state was coming from. It's Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they talk about it in my state. I mean, I have a horrible governor.
Well, I hear Missouri's next.
Yeah, it is. It's all over the place, and
it's dumb.
It is really dumb, and I don't think that they will differentiate. I think that the people that are trying to disenfranchise even more so the trans community are just going, oh,
it's only a matter of time.
Drag shows too. Let's just put them in there, and now you can't wear a dress if you're a man.
That's putting people in a box. You can't put people in a box like that. You know what I mean?
That's how revolutions start.
Yeah.
Because if you take so many things away from people, they're gonna rebel. It happens, and it's not gonna be pretty. And I don't want it to happen. I want us to course correct and stop being in everybody's bedroom.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'd really like to get your opinion. I feel like you're the closest to this issue. Well, obviously, you run drag shows. You're trying to put fundraisers together for Pride celebration. This is something that affects you on different levels, and people that I guess more so than maybe some of us others.
So, okay, I think I picked the most appropriate character for this because I may very well become the bad guy at the end of the day. Did anybody actually read the legislation?
Yeah.
What was being proposed in the bill?
Yeah.
I did not actually read it, no.
I did.
I've been watching news articles.
Remember it.
Okay, so the way that it's being portrayed right now is that they're trying to ban all drag shows, and then they are trying to ban all gender-affirming care, period. And that is a half-truth.
Okay.
What this really has been blowing up over is the access that people have to children, and also what type of care we're allowing to happen to children. So this is something I called out years ago, back when like the gender ideology was really starting, when non-binary was really taking off. That there's a lot of very loose rhetoric or terminology being used that is so open to interpretation that it's dangerous. And I called it like that back then, saying, hey, when you say, well, I just feel this way and you have to deal with it because otherwise you're in the wrong, that's going to lead to pedophiles trying to glob onto the LGBTQ. And they've already tried to do that with the whole
as maps
person thing. Yeah, they have their own flag. It kind of falls into this. So it really stems, the reason why this is all coming about is the fact that, we need to have all these drag shows for kids. And I have to, as a queen, ask my community, what was the reason that you needed to dress up for kids specifically? Like, it's one thing if you want to have existence and be able to do what you're doing in the adult realm, but why were you having the need to have these, like, drag show readings?
I know why. I understand the ideology behind why.
Okay, but it's also that too, the ideology that's being perpetuated. If it was just a kid going to a thing that, somebody's dressed up like a Disney princess and we're reading a story because we want to get you into books, that's fine. But when you're reading the gay BCs, it comes off as a very pushy agenda. And very often I see people in my own community say, well, the church is just as wrong for indoctrinating children at such a young age. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But where's the difference? They say the same thing with, they don't have any problems with these toddlers and tiaras. I have a problem with that too. You're sexualizing young children.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't support seeing 13-year-old kids doing drag in clubs with grown adults.
Right.
Sexual. And the sad truth is, it's because we can't seem to give a moderate barrier of, okay, we want acceptance and we want to have people see who we are and that we exist. But we also don't need to then start bringing kids into these adult spaces, into something like this. Let kids be kids. Don't gender clothes. Don't gender toys. We need to remove the gender norms. That's something I can get behind. But as far as like, I need to take a 5-year-old to a drag queen story reading, I really have to legitimately question why. What was the purpose behind that? Because now what it's done has endangered the rest of us. And as far as the trans part of the bill, it's not that people cannot have gender affirming care. It's that they don't want minors to have access to puberty blockers and have surgeries before the age of 18. You can't have kids consenting to something when they are not an adult to consent. These kids can't vote. These kids can't drive. So why are we giving them the option being like, I want to have, puberty blockers that are going to completely destroy my reproductive system, because we don't know enough about this yet. So I think it is a very nuanced thing that we have the best intentions, but where does that road lead to?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I understand what's behind it is that what they're not trying to push any, from what I've seen, is not pushing any ideology. It's more of just, these people exist. This is what they look like. This is how they're not scary and they're not pedophiles. I mean, that to me was
that
is
right there
behind that.
There are not any pedophiles out there that you're going to find that on Chris Hansen. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a drag queen. But at the same time, you do have trans activists like Jeffrey Marsh on TikTok that have some very high red flags with those videos. Hi kids, join my Patreon so we can talk in private. When I hear comments like that come from a grown ass man with bad makeup talking to kids specifically, you are literally endangering me and the rest of my trans friends and community, because you are the one with the platform and you are being put on a pedestal and you are literally saying, hey kids, come, let's talk in private. Just, abandon your family because I'm your family. Because that's not creepy in some way, shape, or form. That's why you have to read the live in reality with me on this one and say, yeah, that's still bad. I want to be able to support this community, but also say that should not represent the community.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that is,
and you don't have to. Yeah, you shouldn't have to. It should not be one party line like everyone's the same. That's not it at all.
But oftentimes it does feel very all or nothing. That's what I mean. Like if you disagree with any one individual that's got enough followers, oh well, no, now you're problematic. You don't support the rest of us, and that's not where I'm coming from. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of content creators out there who still fall into the spectrum and our community that literally do talk back and say, hey, I don't understand where this is all coming from. Can we please have a little bit of common sense from time to time? It's one thing to say gender's a spectrum and say that there's a difference between sex and gender. I can get behind all of that. As soon as it goes into the, hi, I'm, bugs pronouns. Like, what? Yeah. I'm frogs pronouns. What? Can we maybe not go down that rabbit hole and just say, hi, crazy? Can you stop being crazy? Because you're making the rest of us look crazy.
Oh my God, you talking in that outfit like that is just...
It's amazing, right?
Awesome. It is.
Evil!
I'm just staring at you. I'm just staring at you like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I'm just staring at you.
Preach!
I'm like, you better preach it now. Yes.
All right, Kramer, you got to follow that.
You're asking the straight white male.
Yes, I want to know what your views. Do you have Kids Graveyard? I think you said you did.
I do.
So how do you feel about the whole kids going to drag shows?
At a certain age, I think if they're like 16, if they're able to drive and get into a club, that's fine.
There.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I've never been to drag show. When I go to California, I hope to change that and go see one of yours. But, it's, my wife has gone for bachelorette parties. I think they're a great form of entertainment, and I don't see anything wrong with them. But to your point, the problematic people, they exist everywhere. It'd be like us going, hey, you Baptist religious leader, you touch kids, therefore we're going to ban all Baptist religious leaders. And that's the same thing. But we can't say that.
Right.
Unfortunately,
church than anything, and yet they have no qualms about calling that out. Like, what the actual what? Like,
right.
So it's I have no issues with any of it. People want to be who they want. That's my viewpoint. People are who they are. It's all it is. And if you don't support something, you don't try to go out and stop it. You don't try to ban it. It's a ridiculous response to anything. There's a lot of things I don't like Dark Phoenix pointed out, toddlers and tiaras. I hate that. Am I going to start boycotting it and trying to raise legislation against it? We could. But in
that case, take your 5-year-old daughter to compete in one of those things.
Right. I think there is actually something dangerous about that shit, though. Not only is it creepy, but you're setting your child up for being groomed.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't see anything. I have this debate with my religious friends, and I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. Is you're pushing the anti-religion onto your kids. They're too young to make that decision. I go, your kids are the same age, but you're pushing religion agenda, and that's okay. So right. I think you should be able to let kids know that these things exist in the world to help them feel at home and who they are, and teach both sides. If you can teach kids about, being heterosexual, you can teach them about being homosexual. It might help kids reaffirm who they are, get their place in the world, and rightfully where they should be. Yeah. If we can teach them one thing, we can teach them the other.
Yeah, to add to that, that's what I mean. I mean, knowledge is the greatest power you can have.
Right.
And understanding, because what happens when people are afraid is that they either want to control or they want to destroy what they don't understand. So once you understand something, it becomes less scary. It's more or less than the boogeyman. But you have to know how to navigate those things correctly.
Correct.
Banning them is not the answer. I mean, do I like toddlers and tiaras? No. I know that the little girls love to go and dress up, and they like to do the performing stuff, and that's fine. I mean, I was on stage performing since when I was 3. So 3-4 years old. And it was great because that was awesome. I loved being on it. I was like, this is where I belong. But, there is a time and a place, and you do need to teach good boundaries otherwise. But if you make it all the boogeyman, that's what it's going to be, and then all you're going to have is us going backwards to the Dark Ages, because that's what literally happened.
I think what a lot of the religious conservatives are worried about is like it's not so much the sex as much as the sexuality. You know, and you know, maybe this is something that you know I can ask. I'd like to ask Anthony. Is like, is it possible to separate the two, sexuality and just about being sex? I could understand if somebody was like, I don't know, very religious and conservative, that they might not want to go to Pride and see dicks flopping out everywhere, or have their 5-year-old child.
Wait, there are dicks flopping out everywhere? Why?
San Francisco, yeah.
I've been to I've seen a couple parades.
I mean, is there a way to be able to support like being who you are, but to take the sexuality part out of it? Does that make sense?
Yes. Again, I think that there is a huge difference from, hey, mommy, why does that lady look so tall? Or, you know, basically it's kind of like the big bad wolf syndrome. Like, no, your eyes are so big. Oh, her hair's so crazy. Like, it's one thing for kids to be curious if they just encounter it. I think it's entirely different if it's a teacher who just graduated, you know, and they're 25 and they're non-binary, and then they make a point to make it part of the lesson plan for those kids.
Right.
There's an awful lot of projection happening there. I don't remember a single time in my childhood that my teachers talked about their spouse, what their sexuality was, or anything to do with their home life. I don't even think it was anything beyond like, hi, my name is blank. That was it. Yeah. So the fact that, you know, people are going out there and being like, oh, you know, let me tell you about my queerness and my pronouns and all this and this. It is very impressionable to very young minds. And that's the thing. I think that's where a lot of this pushback comes from. You know, it'd be one thing if it was something in a high school setting where kids are starting to develop and starting to find themselves and what they are going through. Doing it at like a kindergarten or second grade level, like that's a bit much. That's a stretch for me. I think that there's a huge difference from not letting Billy pick on Timmy because Timmy likes to play with Barbies. That the way of going about that as an adult would be like, hi, so why do you care that he plays with those dolls? He likes them. Well, because girls do that. Well, okay, but not everything is for girls and not everything is for boys. What do you like? Well, I like playing basketball. Well, if someone gave you a hard time for liking basketball, how would that make you feel? I feel like that's the appropriate way of making this digestible for kids, that, hey, everybody can have different interests and everybody can be into something else without it turning into a, well, you know, Timmy, you should really explore your pronouns. Do you think you're a they, them? Like, that's when it becomes very pushy. Because what you're really doing is saying, well, because this is my identity, I want as many other minds to feel the same way. And that's where I find the similarities of, like, because I'm a Christian, I need everyone else to believe in the power of Christ. It's so very much like the same to me. And again, I get so much backlash from people like, oh, you don't support your community. I'm like, no, I do. Because I was one of those kids. If I would have been born in the year 2010 and then grown up in this day and age, I would already be identifying like, oh, I'm trans. Oh, I'm trans. Absolutely. I grew up younger, like wishing I was a girl, and then going into high school, convincing myself I was straight. So, I mean, there's that whole process too. Like kids deciding what they have, what they want as a permanent fixture at that young of an age. They don't know what the fuck they want. And as far as the, oh, well, we need this gender affirming care because, you know, going through puberty is just going to be terrible. You don't say.
That's terrible for
anybody. Yeah. Like, it's the most awkward, painful, ridiculous time in your life where everything makes you feel gross. Everybody around you makes you feel bad about not looking right. The only people that had fun during puberty peaked in high school. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure if this who in distance nerding this is, but there's a really good point up here. Says, got to give it to kids credit. You can make it their new norm. My son has a gymnastics friend with 3 moms. Then there's other parents with 2 dads. That's the new norm.
That's James. That's James.
I think there's nothing wrong with being able to make it digestible and be like, oh, why is it that they have 2 dads, or why do they have 3 moms? Well, some families are like that, and you leave it like that.
Right.
Just make it like, oh yeah, no, that's totally normal. And
you give something for kids to grow into. I mean, I agree with that.
I honestly think this is more of an old people problem. Like, as the older people start dying off, these conceptions and these preconceived ideas of what a boy should be or what a girl should be or what a girl can do or what a boy can do, I think a lot of these things will just die off and it just will become the accepted norm. It's almost like, they talk about Hollywood pushing the woke agenda. I think if you just let it be, it will be. You don't have to actively
You can't
push
force me to be woke. You can't force me to be woke. I'm woke on what I know. I'm woke on what I know. I can't be woke on what you know. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you ain't woke. It'd be like, wait, I am very much alive. I'm woke. You know what I mean?
You can't live and let people
force me.
Them. Like, you've heard me say this on this channel multiple times. There's nothing wrong with being different. Everyone should embrace their differences. Right. It's just a matter of what is right and what is wrong. And if what you're doing is taking advantage of or hurting somebody against their will, then you are in the wrong. Yeah. So I feel like to some extent there are some kids that sadly do kind of get taken advantage of because they have these adults in their ear like, you should really feel this way because, we want to feel progressive and this and this and that versus just realizing like, hey, I'm pretty sure my kid's going to be gay. I'm going to get ready for that conversation when they do tell me and be like, oh yeah, dude, I totally knew when you were like 5. Like it's there's a completely different thing there happening.
Okay.
So I want to say something to Van's point is, the boys and girls toys, right? I have a son. He is going to be 8. And he came home from school 2 years ago and said all of a sudden, that Barbies are girls' toys and trucks are boys' toys. And my wife look at each other and go, where did this come from? We did not teach this. So that means it's being taught, or he's learning it in school. That it's being taught amongst his friends. That's just how it is.
Ironically enough, at 5, my kindergarten teacher told me the exact opposite because I wanted a Barbie. And she's like, boys can have Barbies, little girls can have footballs. Like
G.I. Joes were Barbies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like before 1990. Like what the hell? We were ahead of the time.
With all those toys,
At the same time, my mother was like very much concerned, like, hey, you should probably not take your Barbie to school because your friends are gonna make fun of you. And of course, she was absolutely 100% right. And I think that's where we then have the onus on the people, the adults in the room to really step in and say, hey, kids, maybe don't be shitty towards each other. Because there was no.
That's a bigger lesson. That's the bigger lesson.
And that's the bigger lesson. Exactly. We want to talk about gender affirming care for people. I would much rather make healthcare a human right first, so that way that we can have access to that. Because let's face it, who has access to those things right now? Middle class fucking white kids.
Yep.
And the rich. Yeah.
Yeah. People with money. People.
So I have a great
everybody who feels the gender dysphoria. So it's not an equal thing. It's not that. It's literally for people that have more wealth, and we're seeing a big spike, especially of like young white girls from the suburbs that all want to have double mastectomies before they're 16. And it's a shame because I want these kids to be able to grow into themselves and find themselves before they make like permanent life-altering decisions about themselves.
Right.
Because again, at 8, are you really telling me at 16 you were at your prime thought level? I find
no.
No, I had my moments.
I haven't reached mine yet.
What do you mean by that?
So I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I'm going to be fucking 40 in 3 years.
Well,
I have a story from when I was a preschool teacher. I was working at a Head Start, and we had one of the families that I dealt with. They had a little boy that they would drop off. It was a black family, and it was the mom that I saw on the. She was the one typically to drop off her son. So, anyways, one day he's playing in the doll area, and he's getting this baby doll, and he's like giving it a bath, and he's being so kind and gentle, and he's washing its hair, and then he puts a diaper on it, and then he puts it on a plate and gets a knife and fork, and then pretends to start eating the baby, right? So I tell the mom this story, and the mom is like really, really progressive. The mom is really cool, right? So she was like cracking up or whatever. she goes home and tells the dad, and I've never actually met the dad, but dad is like more of the conservative type or whatever. So he went out of his way to come in the next day to apologize to me. He wanted to talk to me about the situation with his son, and he wanted to apologize to me. And I was like, what are you apologizing about? He was like, well, he was like, I didn't teach my boy to play with baby dolls and stuff. And I was like, your child was pretending to eat a baby, and you're like, the thing that you're concerned about was him giving the baby a bath.
I mean, that's why I think it's really dangerous to genderize toys, because we need boys that like to play with baby dolls because they are caregivers. We think that teaches empathy.
Well, and I don't know how many diapers I've changed. I don't know how many feedings I've done. I don't know how many vomit messes I've had to clean up. It's no different between I think in fact boys should play with baby dolls because boys are going to be fathers one day.
I thought toys were just toys. I thought toys were just toys, man. Yeah, it's just getting way too much. It's just like, so what? You know what I mean? Like you said, that this whole woke thing is like, well, clearly he wouldn't woke because it's like we're talking about he trying to act like he eating something. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, I
watched Jeffrey Dahmer sitcom.
Right. So you're raising him to be a serial killer or something, or cannibal dentist. I mean, what are you talking about here? You know what I mean? You literally came in to apologize. It's like you're ashamed. You're ashamed. So you had to come all the way back to this place to apologize to someone you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, but you're missing the point of what your son was really doing that could be disturbing. But you're only worried about the fact that he's a boy playing with a toy.
Right.
It's baby doll, whatever you want to call it. It's still a toy. Kids see toys. It's a toy. You know what I mean? That's just what I feel. I feel like toys used to be toys, and it's just gotten out of hand.
Well, I mean, I came from a household with 2 older sisters, and my son has 2 older sisters, and his youngest older sister, if it makes sense, is about a year and 5 months age difference. Mm-hmm. So they play together a lot, and there's never been a question of who plays with what. It's just our living room has a toy area, and it's every toy. There's a kitchen, there's food, there's dolls. Every toy that's there. It doesn't matter what's what. So, I think it's especially with boys that have sisters that are so close in age or twins that I think you can get that blur at home a lot easier than if you have just a son, because when we had kids, people always buy even the baby toys were the more, if there was possible, they would buy the more gender-based toy for the child instead of just being a toy. I think there's always that girls aisle at the store too, right? Yeah.
So it's been like that, yeah.
But then and we talked about this even actually to me ties into bigger societal problems that we have that we've actually talked about on this show. Seems like everything we ever talk about always ties back to some other shit we talked about on a former show. But we were talking about the pink tax. We were talking about the pink tax, right? And how that women will typically pay a higher price for the same exact item, be it razor blades, shampoo. Their products tend to be a little bit more. But when you go to, if you guys remember Toys R Us, they literally had pink aisles that were the girls' aisles. And, I've often wondered, they talk about how, violence on TV and all these violent video games, and this is what's leading to, kids going crazy. But we've always, ever since I was a child, boys had the army toys and the things of destruction, right? Or maybe you could you might have construction workers or something like that, or police officer or fireman. But usually it had something to do with fighting or killing somebody. That was what was considered boys' toys. And if you look at the animal kingdom, right? Every human being is just an animal, right? But every child, every baby in the animal kingdom, they play to learn how to be an adult, right? And so if we're teaching our boys that, military and guns, this is what boys are, and Barbie dolls, this is what girls are, then, we're not going to get that, the nurturing fathers or or the girls that want to go into construction work.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's going to be seen as not normal, although there's no reason that it shouldn't be.
What we're seeing now is that instead of just saying like, hey, it's okay for kids to play with whatever, it's like, oh, hey, this little girl who's into these boy things, now we're pushing it towards the boy thing. You must actually be a boy.
Yeah.
What's that?
And that divides the whole conversation anyways.
Yeah, and the same thing with the little boys that want to play with the girl stuff because it's a girl stuff. I got made fun of for having the doll because, oh, you're a girl. And it's like, no, I'm a boy who likes pretty things. And I feel like what it does is it erases the ability for kids, like the girls to be the tomboys or for the boys to be the little femboys, where that might not be the thing that we end up doing. So it's a guiding principle that's concerning. That I think that again that needs to stop. I also don't think that people who are just fresh out of college should be teaching young children personally. But that's just
well, and therein lies other social issues we have. We don't have enough teachers right now, so they're basically taking anybody they can get off.
No, and that's just it. So, and I think a lot of the reason why there's a lack of people wanting to go into the teaching field is they don't want to get into these battles with people because it's something that could ruin your career. It's something that can ruin your reputation. You say the wrong thing to the right woke person, they are going to slander you permanently and try to get you killed. And again, that's a big problem with this is that there's not a lot of tolerance here. There's a lot of demand for respect for how I view the world. Whereas any question against it, oh, no, you're the problem here. You need to educate yourself. And it's like my lived experience should not be erased either. Coming back to the drag show thing, though, the problematic part of the ban is not that, oh, they're just trying to, limit it so that kids aren't available. It's that they want to ban any drag show that's within 1,000 feet of any public park or place of worship or public space that kids can be in. That is dangerous because what you're saying is that even if it's a private business, even if it's an adult-only realm, you might take that right away from them because it's too close to a park that's across the street. Like that, that's where these things are becoming ridiculous and where, again, legislation needs to be worded very carefully. It'd be it needs to be like a 16 and up kind of thing, or, kids need to be of a certain age in order to be exposed to it. That's one thing entirely, but to say you can't do this because it's within a proximity reach of something, that's where we start to have that slippery slope of they're going to start taking more rights away from us. I mean, again, we already had it with abortion. I guarantee you, we saw as soon as that happened, gay marriage is the next thing on that block. And it's because people are doing it. Well, my religious beliefs. Well, your religious beliefs are just as stupid as anybody else's. I believe this, so therefore it's true. That's like the worst argument that you can ever say to me because I'm just a little bit too logical. It's kind of like
I've heard that the next step behind that was interracial marriages.
Well, yeah, and even Mitch McConnell voted for that, and he's in a fucking interracial relationship. Like, does he hate his wife, or does he not think that Asian counts?
Same with Clarence Thomas.
His wife.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually likes his wife.
I don't think either of them do. I think that they're secretly gay. That's just
I don't think his wife likes him, if that helps.
No, I just don't think they like him. I mean, they want to have sex with them, but they don't like them.
And then as far as trans individuals, I really do wish that we would have not necessarily gatekeeping. I don't want to say gatekeeping. That's not a good phrase. But I wish that we had better people that we would put on the pedestal. I don't think that Dylan Mulvaney helps things in this sense. I've been trying not to say their name on here because I feel like the more oxygen we give that, regardless of if it's criticism or not, it's still exalting that person on a pedestal. But we literally have an individual who's like made a career out of the fact that, oh, well, this is my gender. I'm trans. I have TikTok followers. Now I'm famous. I talk to the president. I get thousands of dollars a week. I've had basically the public pay for all of this stuff. And it is something that kids look at and go, oh, this could be my career. This is the way I become an influencer. Is I'll just become trans. And it takes away from all of the people that literally have the gender dysphoria, that have face those battles. There are so many other individuals I can think of that should have talked to Joe Biden as far as being a representative of the trans.
Yeah, that's a wrong representation of a person. I don't like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and again, it's somebody who took like the most misogynistic, sexist view of what a woman is, put it on as a performative character, and then suddenly struck gold. And
it's disrespectful, though.
It's like it's scary. It's sad. It's scary. It bothers me that we do this as Americans, and I don't understand it. But it's the same thing that they did with Trump, right? Here's the most anti-Christian, anti-family values, anti-morals or ethics person who's in charge of the fucking GOP that claims all of those things. It's almost like they're a bunch of hypocrites. Go figure.
Yes, and the sad thing is that the evangelicals love him. The evangelicals love him, though.
Yeah, and again, let's see, paid a porn star hush money because he slept with her while his wife was pregnant.
Oh my Jesus!
We don't have to go talk about the orange Cheeto. It's fine.
No, I really
Cheeto.
But we'll see.
He is orange. He is very orange. He's sickly. I don't know what's going on with that.
I mean, we thought Grease was orange, and yet.
Did you see Mark Hamill's costume when he went to Comic-Con, where he was dressed as Vader, but he was like an orange Vader with like a toupee and like the golf shirt, and then he had the golf club lightsaber. But that was Mark Hamill dressed up as Trump, dressed up as Vader, dressed as Trump.
Oh my God. I have to see it now. I have to see it.
Yeah, I gotta see it.
That's awesome.
I've heard rumors lately that they're trying to say now that Luke is supposed to be gay. Is this true? Is this a thing?
I saw something about that, but I didn't read into that article.
No, because there's Mara Jade. There's no way.
Well, that's not.
That's the EU doesn't. Unfortunately, is not canon. It should be. Because
well, Filoni and Favreau are trying to make a lot of that stuff happen.
I've never seen him be coded or read as being gay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I haven't driven that yet. Sorry.
You could possibly make the argument for Finn and Poe. I love it. If you could possibly make the argument for Finn and Poe. But I've never read Luke as gay.
No.
Yeah,
I never read him coded.
About that.
You
know what? I hate to interrupt, but I do have to get ready for another event, you guys. I appreciate you guys having me. I really wish I could stay. You guys are just awesome group of people. I mean, if anybody want to talk about woke, this is a group of people that's woke, okay? and I love it. I like mental stimulation. And then thank you so much for shaking your boobs before I go. Because now I have that memory with me in my heart. That's pretty amazing for me. So I'm a happy girl. I'm a happy girl.
Shante, you are welcome to come back anytime you want to come back and hang out with us.
You guys definitely fun. I'll be back. I appreciate you for having me, though, definitely. So I'll definitely hang out with you guys again. I hope I'm welcome to come back anytime. So, all right.
All right,
bye, Jay.
Oh wow!
Again, not appropriate for children. I'm sorry.
We're not taking this show to any public libraries. Casey in the mornings.
I'd probably leave this set of titties at home if that was the case. It'd be like, no, let's go back to the bird seed in like a bodysuit. Something that keeps me nice and covered, but still cute.
Yeah,
still cute, always cute. All right, I think we should head over to our next topic for tonight. I think we pretty much got that one through. The death of the free social media. Recently, there was quite a shakeup with the announcement that the CEO of YouTube left. She had been the CEO for a long time, and this came right before the ideas of course, we know Facebook is losing shares. A lot of these companies are trying to find ways. Elon Musk famously had that $7 verification thing he was trying to do with Twitter.
Which failed miserably. I'm so happy.
But so now the question is with social media, they are talking about the ideas, especially if a lot of this legislation goes through, that's meant to help us so that these companies aren't allowed to mine information, that we'd actually have to pay for these services. Do you think that any of these services will survive? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of these, if you had to pay for them, would you pay for them?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. And the thing is that, yeah.
No. I want to hear it all.
When you have we saw this coming when you had making it so certain sites could get higher bandwidth. I'm trying to think what the act was. Net neutrality act. Yeah. So you already saw that was, and you saw the uptick, and I think it's hilarious that Facebook is losing shares when they are making huge profits. Like all of these companies that are saying, "Oh, we're losing profits," are making record profits.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
well, Facebook, I know with them in particular, well, obviously, besides all the money that they're dumping into this metaverse that everybody's laughing at them about, but besides that, they're hitting a point where, and I see this in retail.
That's when you take a risk.
Well, this is why I don't necessarily understand all the rules of capitalism, but okay, so when I was a store manager, right, when I was a shift manager at various jobs that I had at the mall, you always had your end of the night totals that you had to fill in, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And the one that always caught me, because I've seen this at several different companies, was year to date, right? So what you had to do was you had to see what your profits were on that date last year compared to what your profits are tonight. And obviously the goal is every year you want to have more and more profits, right?
It's unsustainable.
But it's unsustainable. How can you possibly have higher and higher profits? You're going to come to a point where you've just saturated the market. And that's what's happened a lot with Facebook. They've kind of saturated the market. Everybody that's got accounts has an account already. They're running out of ways to bring in this income. So they're talking about an idea of, having to pay for Facebook, which of course owns Instagram and WhatsApp, I think.
Yes. So basically you're taking away what it really is doing is it's saying to be connected with the world, you need to pay. Yeah. And that's going to shut down so much communication that we have. It's not.
I mean, to be fair, though, we already do that with like contracts for your phones or for your internet access.
You already pay to connect. Yes.
You already pay to connect. So
so why should you nickel and dime you to go to certain sites? Right.
Yeah, exactly. And again, for me, Twitter can fail and burn and go to hell because Twitter is for me Twitch-hearted. It is not something that I put any actual value in. When people talk about things going on Twitter, I'm like, how did this company where people just talk bullshit into the ether become $1 billion enterprise? I will never understand that. Because it's not even entertaining. Like YouTube's at least entertaining. TikTok is at least entertaining. Like TikTok's dangerous because of the people that get to, go out there and be like, hi kids, pay for my Patreon. But outside of that, like I still find funny cat videos. I still find funny memes and dances and things that bring people joy. I don't know how to use TikTok to save my soul. I'm sad because I just cut off all my hair, and I had this whole process where I was like filming me throughout the day. I was explaining why I was cutting my hair off. I had my brother-in-law, who was my hairdresser, like in the video. We had all this building up to me doing the final reveal, and then I hit next. And then it blipped out of total existence, and I have no idea what the fuck I did. It just disappeared, went to somebody else's video. I'm like, so what happened to what I just worked on? Go back to my drafts, it's gone. Go back to my drafts, even my previous one of my painting is gone. And that's where I'm just like, I don't know how technologies, but it clearly
and that's why you got a graveyard.
That's why I'm Dark Phoenix. I'm pretty sure my psychic sense just fries everything that I touch.
Yeah.
Well, Graveyard, you're the technology guy. I mean, what are your thoughts about this? I mean, does this fundamentally change society? How do people communicate that? I mean, we've gotten to this point, and really, I guess that because they always say that Facebook is for the old people, but that's how That's how I met all of you, right?
No, MySpace is for the old people. If you still have a MySpace.
MySpace is the better of the two, honestly.
Yeah, so
it's way more customizable.
When all this started in my field, we go, and we've said this before, I've said this before about cell phones and stuff like that, that if you're not paying for it, you get repaid for it, you are the product. So if Facebook charged people $12 a month or $12 one-time fee, they would never have had to sell your information, do the algorithm and have all the stuff we do now. So free services, there's always a catch, and this is the catch. We're finally seeing the catch. We're seeing the other shoe drop, and this is what we're getting. You've always had to pay for something. You wanted to go into a chat room, you had to pay for AOL. This is no other services like Netflix. It's like Shudder. It's not free. If you're not paying for it,
it's telling us that. Okay, but the thing is, you're paying for a service for the internet, which means you are what's available to you is part of that service. What you're doing is you're basically paying a subscription. Paying a subscription to just like how we used to have television. You paid for all the channels, maybe some of the premium channels, but now they're just all broken up into different ones, and it's.
Well, and if you look at Comcast, and sorry, Comcast, every channel is on that line to your house. Yeah. Every line is on, every channel is on that line to your house. Everything. They put filters on it, and you pay them to remove the filter. So you are paying for something that's already there and at your house.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean,
I do better with that anyways. I'm like, I don't care.
Social media. I mean, what was before social media? Just media. You had to pay to have it. You had to pay for TV. You had to pay for newspapers. You had to pay for phone lines. You had to pay for posts. You had to pay for telegraphs. Everything's always been paid for. And so, if they charge the fee, if they charge an upfront fee from the very beginning, they wouldn't be having the problem they're having now. That they would be able to charge it, and they wouldn't be selling the information, and you'd have more rights on this free social media. You can control what's on it. It is a subscription-based thing. It's no different.
There's no way they would have been the Goliath they are now if they had charged a subscription from the beginning. Do you think?
Absolutely. I think we would have accepted it as the norm.
I think that far less.
No, I don't think so.
Would not have access to the content.
How did Microsoft get so big? It was not because he made everybody pay for that subscription. Actually, a lot of them were handed out free and loaded. Yeah, that was the secret of how Microsoft actually got to where it was. Because a lot of people saw it. A lot of people were like, "Hey, I like this operating system," and they didn't need to pay for it. And that was something that he purposely did because he's like, more people are you're going to see the software. You're going to like it so much. You're going to go out and buy your own because you're going to feel like it's worth paying for, even if you got it for free. And I've seen that. I've actually seen people take that free thing and they're like, oh my gosh, this does so much for me. I'm going to pay for it. But if you're forced to pay the annuities that were already there, that you already had, people the only people that really benefit from that are the rich people, the ultra rich people who do not have to deal with it. If you're a poor person, that is really bad.
The first taste is free.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like freemium gaming, right? Like, there's plenty of games that you can download from the Play Store that are absolutely free to try. But if you want access to the better things that are in the content, well, you're going to have to pay $49.99 for that bundle package, aren't you?
Yes.
I mean, I'm pretty terrible. I will admit that, like, I play the Disney Sorcerer's Arena game. It's ridiculously addictive for me. I love the fact that I can collect all my favorite Disney characters.
Hold on one second.
Did I spend actual money of my own? Like, I spent $50 just so I could unlock Maleficent because that's a character that you can't get any other fucking way. Like, but I want her. And you know what? I'm an adult that makes my own money. So I guess, you know what? Yeah, I'll pay a damn fee for this. That's ridiculous. Even though, like, I could buy a PlayStation game for that much, that's probably better. But it's also not as addictive. It doesn't give me daily rewards. Like,
it doesn't tell you're pretty and special every day. I mean, that,
No, I tell myself that in the mirror every time. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean,
sorry. You is pretty. You is kind. You is special.
I was gonna say I'm on the other end. I play a game on my mobile phone called War Robots that I've literally been playing probably for about 3 or 4 years now. And they have all the buy the upgraded guns and packages and stuff. But I'm proud of the fact that I have never spent a penny. I just grind to get the I get my ass kicked for a long time.
Normally, where it's like, no, I ain't giving you shit. This is a free ass game. I'm just gonna play it as it is. But like when that one thing comes through that tempts me, that I'm like, oh, it's a special
microtransactions.
Never unlock it otherwise. I'm just gonna do it.
But the way I view the social media is no different than the PlayStation Network, than Xbox Live. You already have the internet. You already have the device. You still have to pay to go online and use their service to communicate with your friends and play games.
Or it's kind of like when you bought a game, but then you have to pay additional money for the DLC content. Correct. That's technically part of the game.
It's unfinished.
Well, we released it after.
But we didn't used to. We had
What do you mean we didn't used to?
Or just
remember the days when you bought a game and you just got the goddamn game. And
Mario
that was
2, Mario 2, and Mario 3 were DLC for Mario. They were the same engine. It was the same game, different levels. Mario 2 and 3 are DLC.
Really? Mario 2 seems so different from all of the other
Japanese Mario 2, the Lost Levels. Japanese Mario 2 is the original Mario. It's the same engine,
with the Lost
levels.
Okay, that's different. I was thinking of the Super Mario 2 where they
were sold, but they still were their own packaged games.
Vegetables were your weapon. I don't know why they did that, but apparently
it's no different than buying it's no different than buying Call of Duty 2 Part 5. It's still an expansion of the existing game. You're just paying.
It's not the same thing. DLCs are. It's not the same thing. I don't think it's the same thing as when you're having parts in that same way. It's like, I mean, I don't have a problem with Telltale games when they had released chapters. That is not the same thing. The DLC content, what I don't like is that they literally will be like, no, you got to pay extra just to get the rest of the story that is part of already that story. When you have separate games, usually there's continuations but that arc, that story is already over. That's why I don't like the DLC content.
What's World of Warcraft?
I have no idea.
Another subscription-based game. It's an MMORPG.
South Park, though.
I'm saying, like, I play Destiny. There's new seasons, and the DLC are new stories, new levels.
But they're not weapons. DLC. They're expansions. Those are expansion packs. At least that's what they call them. But DLC to me is very different. At least to me it is. From how I've been.
It's a cheaper. You pay. It's a smaller percentage of what a full game would cost. So you pay like $20 for the expansion or $30 for the season pass.
Yeah, but typically by the time you pay for the season pass and for all the bells and whistles, it's almost like doubled, if not tripled, the cost of the game itself.
Yes, exactly. And before DLC became a thing, for like, hey, let's do these little itty bitty transactions to get extra skins. But then they're like, hey, we don't have to give them the whole story now that we originally had it, where you had other games that came complete with stories. They had all the content there. It still was affordable to have that game, to have all those things. Basically, now you're parceling out the game for the DLC. I don't care if you have DLC where you get all these cool costumes or whatever. That doesn't bother me. That's fine. That's what DLC is for. But DLC should not be, you can't unlock this level unless you have this DLC pack that will get you to the end game of the story. That's not okay. Give me the whole entire goddamn paid game that I paid $60 for.
So you're fine with Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out in 5 parts, even though it's the same story you can buy for $20.
No,
exactly.
No, that is the problem. That is the fucking problem.
The fact that the second piece was the integrate, where it was just Yuffie added in after the fact, that is not a separate game. It's the same.
That's not a separate game. It's the same fucking game.
Hell, and even then, they remade the Crisis Core, I think it was.
Yeah, and they're so goddamn lazy. They did Resident Evil 2, and they had the same goddamn story. And it's like, DLC to get a different story. No, fucker. I got that on PlayStation 1 when it was so fucking good. I wanted to play it twice and see 2 different stories that were on the same goddamn game that I paid $39.99 for, that gave me an entire story that I was obsessed with.
Obviously, Aubrey has some feelings about this.
I don't like people and diming everything to death. I think it's stupid.
Right. Right.
No, I mean that's just.
I'm so glad that they had the rookie mode on Resident Evil 2 because I would never have beaten that game without it.
I'd be both stories of that game.
They're banking on nostalgia at this point in time. They're microtransacting, and that's what you're complaining about the DLC, right?
It's. I just don't fucking get in the way of the story. Tell a complete fucking story. Don't like parcel it out and be like, hey.
What I will say, like coming back to the social media, like if social media no longer is free, it's gonna literally force people to do what I did when I was a kid in the 90s, which is interact with people. Like, oh my God, you're gonna actually have to like have physical friends in reality that you spend time with outside of the house and not on a fucking device. Say it isn't so. Like, how dare we go back to those dark ages? Like, you're gonna have to go outside and play on a bike and like use your imagination. Dear God. So I think that to some extent, like, yeah, I could see where this could be logistical if it was just for, like,
shouldn't be the norm.
Like we again already use shit like that for email, as far as communication. I don't think that Facebook and Instagram necessarily benefits society in any way, shape, or form because it's led to so much like online dependency and bullying. And it's created these weird platforms where like people can just be ridiculous.
Yeah, they get to present themselves having this perfect life.
Well, yeah,
really is,
and that's just it. They prevent this weird avatar of themselves, like, oh, see, look how great I am, and they're nothing like that. Like the filters that have been coming out lately, even on TikTok, I look at and go, dear God, like what weird world are we like entering into that people need this?
We had a topic about that on an earlier show.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that the recent one, like the really like glam filter that came out, it was like for boys and girls. The filter assumes what your gender is, because I did it on myself as a boy, and it turned me into this, and I laughed so hard. And I think maybe it was because I still had long hair. Maybe it's because I look like my mother. I don't know. But I was like, dear God, with this filter, I'd never have to dress in drag again. I could have all the content I want, and I already look like a chick.
Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking of the Prince
I'm proud of
song.
this. For like a 40-minute do, I'm very happy with this makeup.
Oh yeah, you look fantastic.
You look fantastic, and again, I always am like, I wish I could do your makeup.
The cracks? Yes, let's do it.
Do you think
I fucked up my eyebrows?
Do you think the pay to get in will stop 10-year-olds from having TikTok and YouTube?
They would have to cry to mommy and daddy to pay for it.
Yeah.
So like if their parents have no spine or willpower, then yes, they're gonna have access to it. But if it's like a family that's like, I literally can't afford that, and just told them no, then yeah, kids wouldn't be on these platforms. They'd be like, sorry, tough. Wait until you get a job when you're 16, and then you can buy this shit. But yeah, that would be what kids are spending their money on instead of gas and random clothes and stupid shit like that. Oh, I gotta pay for my internet shit so I could talk shit online with my friends. Get caught up on the new dance trend. Boop, 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 boop. If that becomes viral after this, I'm suing somebody. Just saying.
That's short.
Right.
Short. You need to short that, clip it.
Yep.
All right, hour 19. Hour 19. No, you didn't.
Okay.
If that doesn't get viewers in, I don't know what will.
Oh no,
That's awesome.
Next time I'll take them out of the bodysuit. They're still pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I had these for Black Cat Night. Oh my God, girl. Felicia would have been in the house like, hi there, Spider. How are you doing?
Wow.
That reminds me, I gotta wear
Oh,
these.
Anthony, I love you. Oh, demonetized. That's hilarious.
We're getting
monetized.
Yes.
Hey, we have to get monetized first before
We're not even monetized yet.
Demonetized until you're monetized.
It's like rejected. It's like douches. Rejected.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny, it's like you wonder, like, even though we lived through it, like, I sometimes think, like, God, how did I get through those time periods? Like, how did I survive with just encyclopedias? And yeah, just MapQuest having to like print out directions everywhere. But if
we were talking about, like, my husband and I were talking about that earlier this week. It was like, what did we do before having like GPS on our phone that we could just go, okay, we're gonna go here. Like, what did we had to have directions. So you had a map. Usually you had somebody go, okay, you need to go to this street, and then you're going to take a left, and then you're going to go to the quick trip, and then you're going to, and you're like, what?
Look for the house with the red roof, turn right.
My entire generation used fast food restaurants for everything. It's like, take a left at the Wendy's, turn right at the Quick Stop. If you go to the Jack in the Box, you've gone too far.
It's always that.
My most hated thing about MapQuest, though, I swear to God, because I'm a type of person, like, not only could I not be trusted to like memorize that shit ahead of time, if I did not have a co-pilot, I was fucked. Like, I'd be looking at, like, what exits do I need? Oh shit, I got to change lanes. Oh fuck, I missed it. And as soon as you miss one step, like, what do you do? And then the worst case scenario, what happens when there's construction that MapQuest did not know about?
Yeah.
And then you gotta figure out
I just memorized everything. I just memorized.
Where's the detour's taking me? I'm completely fucked now. Oh.
I just usually memorize where I was going. Like, I used to just have to drive to one place once. This is not true anymore. But I used to be able to just drive. I'd be lost as fuck trying to get there. But as soon as I got there, I'm like, okay, and then I would be fine afterwards. But yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah,
but MapQuest was already starting to come out when I started to drive. So.
I love it. Say Wong says we had gas station employees that knew the entire area.
That too. We asked for directions. That's usually what would happen too. So when people would come to my house, it was really funny. They're like, "So how do you get to your house?" And I'm like, "All right, so you go all the way on the end of Port Chicago Highway till you see a gate. You can't go anymore. And you're going to see a refinery factory on one side, and you're going to see this little road that goes seemingly to nowhere. You're going to go on that road. Make a left on that road.
That doesn't sound creepy at all.
Yeah, and pray. No, you go follow it all the way to the end. Yes, there are people there. Don't worry. Yes, we do live there. People, like, when people come, they get to our house, they're like, we didn't know where we were going. We thought we were going to die. We're like, oh my God, these people want to take us out here to murder us.
I've seen horror movies start that way.
I've seen horror movies end that way.
Yeah, I was fortunate, at least in grade school, because I grew up across the street from my school. So, like, everyone knew where I lived.
Yeah.
No one was my friend.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wonder, without Facebook, I mean, that's how I find out about a lot of things, right? Like, that's how I find out about the Comic-Cons that I want to go, sell sabers at, or that's how I find out about groups. That's how I met all of you lovely people.
Are you kidding me?
Well, technically, you met me through Henry, but I totally met Henry through Facebook, right?
You're right. This is exactly true. And Henry happened to be the uncle of one of my employees.
Right.
Wesley. So yeah, that was totally crazy.
Oh, sweet Wesley. He was such a sweet guy. Sweet kid.
He still is a sweet guy.
Yeah. He is. He's a lovely, lovely man.
But the point of the matter is I feel like if we got rid of social media, that would change a lot of things. You think about some of the like wars and things that happen where people's only way to communicate was through Facebook or through Instagram or something like that, to let people see images from outside of that war zone, or to communicate with family and such.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good truth.
Right, you can shut down a lot of communication that way. I mean, that's how you gain control of the narrative. Shut down communication.
It changes like the news media. If people had a different social media platform that literally was like, this is what's really going on, and don't listen to the propaganda, like, that would give a whole new power to the people. But that's a whole leaps and bounds.
Isn't that what news is supposed to be?
I learned last week that's really popular right now. So I mean, we're distracted with a lot of social media. We could be utilizing it to its best, most needed benefit, but we don't. And then I do feel like we kind of lose the human connection quite a bit, especially for younger generations. I feel like kids these days really don't have a lot of connection with each other on like a real level because they're so stuck in the metaverse side of things of like, yo, this is my avatar, this is what I present, these are how many followers I have. Whereas they're not like going out and like, hey, want to hang out and get pizza? Like that probably doesn't happen as much as it did back in the day. I was just thinking about this the other day, how I used to go to fucking skating rinks. And like that was big. That was what you did. Oh, you have the weekend up. Let's go to the skate rink. Your parents are going to drop you off with a bunch of complete strangers with $20 in your pocket and be there for several hours.
And the arcades. Love the arcades.
Not even care.
It was a different time period. The time of latchkey kids. Yeah. Making your own meals.
We're the most self-sufficient and like ultimately.
Our parents, let's face it, our parents didn't give a shit. As long as we somehow survived, that's all that mattered.
As long as your limbs are still on your body, that's all we care about.
It was a whole different time. But now, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I could live without social media. I just don't know, because I don't get, back. I don't get cable TV like I used to when I was growing up. My parents had that, so I don't get local news or I don't see commercials on TV.
Wait, you had cable?
Dude, we were rocking. We were.
I didn't have cable. I didn't have television. I had television growing up. Boy,
when my mom passed,
ostracized as a kid.
That was another weird thing. Okay, so my mom passed in 2019, and after she passed, I got rid of the cable TV. So she passed in 2019. I got rid of cable probably in January, and then we had the pandemic hit in March, right? The weird, unanticipated thing that fucked me up really bad, which is why I think my anxiety started, was I didn't realize how much I relied on the TV as my internal time clock. Like, because I was at home all day taking care of my mom, if a certain program came on, I knew it was 10 in the morning. If another program came on, oh, my kid's about to come home from school, I need to start prepping his snack or whatever, you know what I mean? So I didn't realize how much my brain kind of used that. And when I didn't have that, when I got rid of the cable TV, and then we had the pandemic where everybody was stuck in their house, it was almost like I lost my internal clock. Like my sleep schedule got so fucked over. Sometimes I'd be up for 30 hours and then crash, and then sometimes it was just off. I didn't have any, I guess, internal schedule.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a question I'd like to pose to everybody. Okay. What is one facet of free social media or a site that you don't think you could live without? Like, what's a site that you're like, no, I have to have access to that. Otherwise, like, I don't know what I do with myself.
I know the one that I use the most is Twitter. Well, no, it's probably YouTube or Twitter, but I don't know if I would consider YouTube as social media, as YouTube or Twitter or Facebook and stuff like that.
I mean, it's a site that you access through the internet that you use for your
purposes. Oh yeah, but
I think it counts.
I'd go with either YouTube or Twitter because I use those a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Can't get on Twitter, girl.
Graveyard, what about you?
Oh, it's a hellscape. It's a hellscape.
Am I Graveyard now? What happened?
Dampy, go ahead. Go ahead, Dampy.
Before I started doing the podcast and meet you fine folks, I didn't use social media, period. Never did. It's in my field, so many attacks and hacks happen through social media, so we're very anti-social media, especially for work. So that's part of why I am the way I am. I'm also generally a very private person, and if people are like, oh, we can see pictures of your kids, I go, great, then come see the kid. I don't my kids' baby pictures don't need to be online. I'm sorry, they don't. It's a lot of people do it. I use YouTube for entertainment purposes and for educational purposes. So if there's for example, if my car, the actuators don't turn on in the fall, so that the hot air doesn't mix into the car, and instead of replacing them at $200 a piece, you just unplug the cable and plug it back in. And I would not have found that if it wasn't for YouTube, where a guy had the same exact problem with the same model car I had. And I still have the books that you buy at like AutoZone about your car make and model, because that's the generation that we grew up in, is read how to do things.
Right.
Versus
yourself.
Had to learn.
Yes, I know, right? So yeah, it's what I couldn't live without. I mean, I don't use cable TV. I don't use, like I said, I barely use Facebook or Twitter and Instagram. I use it for the podcast and for here just to promote stuff. So it's a free marketing tool at this point in time for me.
Well, so even in that way with your podcast show, if you don't use social media, how do you know about what new projects are going to come up?
You don't at this point in time. Like in the past, there would be magazines, articles, Fangora, all that stuff. Always existed to tell you.
But could you do, if without social media, could you do your podcast? If you don't subscribe to cable, if you don't really have other, I mean, because for me, social media is how I find out about things as well. You know what I mean?
You could absolutely put it on Amazon Music, which is not social media. So you can broadcast programs and music and stuff like that without social media.
I'm not talking about just broadcasting, but I'm talking about finding out information, like you know, new movies that are going to be coming out next year, right? Projects that you're going to want to talk about on your show. Those are topics for your show, right? Would you even be able to research this information?
Yeah, it still exists. There's still trailers, there's still previews, there's still horror conventions to find out all this information. And the conventions, you're going to find out more about the more low-end stuff, the low-budget horror, the 45-minute horror, stuff like that. So it's still out there. We just, for a lot of that stuff, I think is just digitized as well. I think it exists in both places. I mean, yeah, it'd be harder, but it'd just be more legwork. So, that's why.
Kind of like MapQuest, right?
Yeah. Speaking of MapQuest, what am I?
It to be, but it'd be a lot harder than just using.
Well, I mean, because we also grew up where we used to travel across the country
with actual maps.
With actual maps, and I'd be in Wyoming, and my dad's like, "All right, tell us how to get home," and I would. So,
because that was the case.
Because we're everywhere in this country, because where I live is literally the crossroads of America. Every sign somewhere has a map to Chicago. That's, you go to Chicago and you can get home. I mean, that's
wow.
I mean, Chicago's also a grid, I think, right? So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it really is.
Whereas, like, the Bay Area and a lot of California is not a grid.
One-way streets in San Francisco alone give me fucking PTSD nightmare.
Yeah, same. I hate driving in San Francisco for that reason.
I get to that on ramp.
I've actually had to pull over my car because I've started to have literal panic attacks.
My worst experience in San Francisco was when I really, really had to pee, and I had no idea where I could find a public restroom. And literally, I'm calling my stepfather going, how the fuck do I get out of this midtown nightmare? Gridlock traffic. And I'm like pinching it. I am just trying to hold myself. And he's just like, well, just like pee in a bottle, pee in a cup or something. I was like, I'm in a very low car and everyone can see directly into it. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting sued for indecent exposure. As far as a website, I don't think I could live without. It's probably Pornhub. I grew up in the days of American Pie where I watched that staticky channel. Okay.
Where you get a little
that
glimpse
is the
of boob.
true struggle. We know it's to be real. And yes, did I pay for fucking porno magazines when I was 18? Of course I did, because they came with a DVD. At the same time, do all of those DVDs scratch? Yes. Not really. Did they get the job done? Sure. But now I have Pornhub at the access of my fingertips whenever I want. These kids are so goddamn lucky. They just don't even know.
Hiding your porn stash, that was always the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. This one, you just got to delete your history. You're good to go.
What's porn stash?
Yeah, see, I don't know. That one's a tough one for me because even I remember in my MySpace days when we were doing live shows once a month. This is when we were doing our television show, but we would do a once a month live taping. I mean, that was like my promotion tool. That's how I let people know when the event was going to be. That's how I got a hold of brand new bands. That was how I checked out comedians and other artists that I couldn't necessarily go to their show, but I could go to their page and listen to their clips of their music or their comedy or whatever it was. Like, it would be really hard for me. Like, I wonder now if social media it wasn't alive, could I run Kyber Cave? I mean, other than just being out there at the cons, that's how people find us is, you know, through our videos and memes and things like that. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's difficult to imagine now not having some free access, some way. Because the other thing too is, even if I pay for it, the people I'm trying to reach, are they going to pay for it?
Right.
Well, and that's also to say that there's always going to be a bootleg version. There was always a place that you could go find something. I remember even with like anime back in the day, it's like, oh, go to this site, find it. Yeah. It's available for free versus like paying for it somewhere else. So no matter what, there's a will, there's a way. There will always be people out there like, oh, you're going to try to screw with us? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and write a program that now it's still free. Fuck all y'all. Like, I know that there are people out there smart enough for that stuff.
Right. The Napsters in the world.
The Napsters of the world, exactly. I mean, I still use a convert YouTube to MP3 thing for all of my drag stuff. Because how else am I going to rip music that I need to do?
No, a DJ.
Even then, like, I need it for my mixes. If I'm going to make a mix on my free, you know, MP3 mixer site, like that's the thing. I need to be able to convert that so I can take snippets and just turn it into an act. It still sucks though whenever I do something like that and then they still like, oh, we have to mute you on Facebook because that music's copyright. I'm like, okay, but I used like 20 seconds of it, and did you see the rest of the number? Okay, sure, because I'm certain that Rihanna's really hurting because I used Umbrella somewhere, but whatever.
Well, Aubrey, what about you? Like, I mean, literally right over your shoulder, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 social media links.
They're working.
I mean,
how would that affect your music or your, you know, your
I mean,
ability
that's what
fans?
Yeah, that's actually what I got onto MySpace for. Funny enough. But I don't like scroll through Facebook as often as I used to, but I do use Messenger to keep in touch with people. I have a friend actually that I met on MySpace who I'm still friends with. This is back in 2007. Still friends with them. I actually have a friend that I met on WoW, who I am also still friends with. So, and that makes it possible through these social medias. It also is a good promotional tool for my music and for my art. Like I can post Instagram.
But how would you
photos.
do that? How would you promote your art if those things didn't exist?
You go to local places, local shows. I actually have some art of my artwork hanging up in Starbucks. That's what I did when I first released my album. I went to a few Starbucks, be like, here, play my song. So, you know, that's generally that's what I use it for. I don't really use Twitter. I'm on YouTube all the time because it's just nice because I can learn stuff, or I'm going down the Am I the Asshole subreddit. Black hole, but it's a lot of fun.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, and YouTube is an interesting one that I hadn't really thought about because I would say probably 75% of my viewing is YouTube. And really the only, you know, Disney and all those, I only watch them for like the new, like Mando or whatever the new, you know what I mean, show is. I don't really watch the back catalog very much myself. So yeah, YouTube is a very interesting. Do you guys consider, because you are communicating with people still, right?
Yeah, you are. I would consider it in some ways a social media of sorts. I would also consider it to be also 50% educational, 50% or 30% cat videos, and the other 30% is stupid shit.
It's America's Funniest Home Videos online.
I mean, and I have right now. I still have Netflix, which I've been weaning off. I haven't been really using Netflix as much,
Right.
which I might actually end up canceling, just because they don't have the content on there anymore that I got them for. Not that I watch it very often, anyways. But right now I'm watching Paramount Plus, and I'm like, this has everything I want on here.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So by the way, Picard season 3. Picard season 3 is.
You just gotta cycle through stuff. So like you have your you want your HBO Max for like Last of Us and House of the Dragon, and then you're like, yeah, I don't need that for a couple of months. Let me get Netflix. Then you get your Netflix shows that you want to see out of the way, and then you get rid of that, and then you go to Apple TV, and like there's so many now, and it's just you kind of have to do that. Like
I feel like like so.
I don't like wasting my time away.
So many people joined the streaming services because they were it was their fight against the cable companies, and now it's just
now they are
as
the cable
expensive.
companies.
It's the same thing. It's more expensive.
It's more expensive. I agree with you.
You're paying per channel. If you want all Fox shows, you have to have Hulu. If you want all NBC, you got to have Peacock, and those are free channels with the basic channels that are over the air.
You want CBS? You have to have CBS.com.
Yes, all these different subscriptions are more money than cable.
I think CBS is now part of Paramount Plus, though. But
yes,
so that's why I only have the Netflix and the Paramount Plus. I just got the Paramount Plus only, and it's literally just to watch Picard season 3 and Strange New Worlds. I have to get my Star Trek fix. That's literally it. That's all I got Paramount Plus for my and I'm seriously on the edge of my seat with this Picard season 3. It feels like old Star Trek. It's fantastic. It's really good. Like season 1 and 2 are kind of meh, okay. Season 3 is like
they're hitting their stride.
So good. Yeah, it's like they hit their stride. And like Strange New Worlds is just really good off the bat. It's really fantastic. And then, if I want to go to my Deep Space Nine, get my Deep Space Nine fix.
There you go.
It still holds up. It's still fantastic and beautiful, and
it's great. It's one of my favorites. Is Deep Space Nine.
Space Dad is the best.
Yeah.
Space Dad forever. I love Space Dad. Yeah. Space Dad can be, my president anytime. Right. That's a reference to an episode, by the way.
Yeah.
What about
Alexander Bell for president.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
What about you?
Me? Mm-hmm. I went first.
She already did.
She said YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was the one that brought up the idea of
Twitter. I'm like, I
What is there? Do you think is there something next? Is social? The idea of social media is pretty basic, right? It's just a place people can leave you messages, or you can leave messages that you want other people to see. Right. Do you think there's something like there's going to be like a new generation, or maybe it's going to be AIs? Maybe there'll be virtual rooms where you meet your friends or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing actually when social media started cropping up. That was one thing I actually missed when AOL disappeared. Was I missed the chat rooms. I really liked going to the chat rooms. I thought they were really cool. I mean, there's a lot of room for predatory stuff happening there, but I really enjoyed them. They were so much fun. There was a lot of role-playing chat rooms that I used to go to.
I feel like
but you essentially still have those, though, right?
Thing, because like we're here and we're basically in a chat room.
We're starting.
We're just
now we are.
Just be in a chat room.
I mean, now it's more. I mean, I don't know. It was more text based. I don't know. I feel like it's different. Social, like Facebook, I think it's kind of like you're in one big chat room.
Yeah.
And everyone's just talking at each other.
Yeah.
But you don't have to listen to them. You just go, I don't want to listen to you anymore. Bye.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, if you want to have the comments, then the comments can kind of be like the little, the chat bubbles of the, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it feels like with Facebook versus like the AOL chat room.
But even in Facebook and stuff, or Reddit and stuff, you can go to individual groups for your interests, right? If you're into lightsabers, you're into comic books, or whatever it is that you're into, you can find little specialty niche that would be more akin to the old AOL days of chat rooms.
Actually, Clubhouse is a lot like that. Actually, I would say Clubhouse is it, but audio. It's an audio chat. It's basically audio chat rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, and I just think you're so further.
I'm so bouncy.
You will progress further. It'll be more. I feel like it'll be more interactive. Whereas, like, we have certain, like, you send a certain link, and then we come on here and stuff like that. That people will just be able to join if they want to join. Things like that. But it's recorded. So I think we're moving in that direction of we're just going to have more availability and more interactivity, if that's even a word. I don't know if it is.
It is. I believe it to be true. So I know what you meant.
That's what I think. And I don't know. Maybe we should look at Star Trek and see what they're saying, because that's probably where we're going.
I hope so.
It's everything so far.
Yeah, I don't remember any social media on Star Trek.
What? They had to open comms. They had to open the comms. And they weren't just broadcast in.
And the handheld devices that gave you everything you needed.
And ion propulsion systems. They predict that too, because we had that in 1996, I think.
Yeah,
talk about ion propulsion.
They got a pretty good record for prophecy.
They do. Techno Battle is pretty amazing.
Anybody else have any other ideas? I like that idea, Frey, about the where it could be the next step of social media, or where this would go to, especially if these companies start charging a fee. I think a lot of people are just going to drop off, and then something else will have to evolve. Something will have to come and fill its place.
Well, I think the next logical step is you're going to get the celebrities are on certain social media that you have to pay for, and they're going to get part of that subscription base. So you're going to start following people based off of what media they are on.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to turn into like streaming services, but online. Oh, God damn it.
All I have to say is I could either go two ways: Star Trek or Idiocracy. It looks like we're heading more towards Idiocracy every day.
I feel like we've already experienced
past that. Yeah.
That was 2016.
It's going to be for a very recent podcast we did. One of David Cronenberg's son's movies, Brandon Cronenberg, he did a movie called Antiviral, where they were literally paying to eat the flesh of celebrities. That you make the meat out of your body cells. You can get a steak made out of yourself. You can eat, which is true now, and they did this in 2012. And that you're able to get yourself a virus or disease that a certain celebrity has, and it's inert in your body, so you can't pass it on. So I think I really think that's where we're gonna go, is that we follow if you want to follow, what?
You can eat your own steak clone thing? What? What?
Yeah, they've been talking about that. Yeah, that's the thing that they've been talking about.
You can grow steak out of yourself.
Yep.
That's weird.
You can
why would
it's very interesting.
Already were expensive. I'm going to go pay to eat my fucking self.
One thing I actually want to say that when we're talking about predictions, WoW actually did a prediction.
Who?
What did they say?
WoW. World of Warcraft. They predicted how people would react in a pandemic.
Oh.
They actually released a pandemic in WoW, and the way that it went through, it's like it is exactly how WoW is. So okay, we don't have to start that, but no, people are just stupid. No, people are just like, that's not true. They're like, I won't pass it to anybody. I mean, it's like anything, but it's just funny because it's like people.
Did WoW have a whole bunch of anti-maskers running around in the?
No, there was.
I'm American. I grew up in a free country.
Some of them. I mean,
HIPAA rights. You're infringing my HIPAA.
Yeah, there's a couple. There were a couple. There were some dumb people. Of course, they're everywhere. But you'd have people that would like go into towers and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to go and infect these people on purpose," or you'd have the ones like, "I don't have the disease," and then they just infect everybody. It was really interesting, and people would be like, "This thing doesn't exist." was
What are
pretty
you talking
funny.
about? There's never any signs that said faith over science. Oh wait,
there's no blood disease going on, and wow, like you can't pass this to people.
I don't know why, but my mind went to the Sixth Sense. But for my version, it's I see dumb people.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I always like to think they're just uneducated and distracted and woefully ignorant.
Willfully ignorant is probably the most correct.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're purposely ignorant.
Some of them, yes. Some of them. I don't know. I mean, stupid is something you can't really help, but
stupid.
I mean, wasn't it Thomas Jefferson said that for democracy to work, you need to have at least 75% of its population to be literate and to understand what is being put forth.
Wasn't he also the one
Make
that
a
said
country
the
work?
government small enough that you could drown it in a bathtub?
I think he said both those things. Yes.
Yeah.
He might have. Yeah. I mean, I think he was a federalist though, so
he was a
something.
Unique individual.
I mean, they all were. Let's be fair, they were all unique individuals.
So everyone could have their own farmland and be a self-sustainable person.
Yeah, they wanted to be their own self-sustainable monarchy.
Yeah, well, that's like when
Each man was a monarch.
our country started. It was going to be an agriculture country, and it's not. So some of the stuff that they're talking about.
Speak for yourself.
It
California still is like.
Well, but I mean, there's a lot more industry, and I don't think that they anticipated that. So
probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, our founding fathers were interesting individuals. Like they actually have a theory that Ben Franklin is actually a serial killer. There's actually evidence for this.
Cool.
It's really interesting.
Well, I mean, we saw Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I'm really looking forward to Ben.
Well, I'm talking about like this is actual like evidence.
We just never knew.
That would be a horror flick I would go check out.
That'd be an interesting, but that would be an interesting summation. But it's wrong time period. Wrong time
all
period.
I have to say about that is aliens.
Aliens.
I just love that. I'll never forget that little meme of the little cat with its hair all like
yeah.
It's like,
all right, guys, we are getting near that hour. Man, that swept by. I want to thank all these lovely faces that are on there and the lovely boobs that that Anthony has brought.
There you go.
It's definitely delighted the show. I want to thank Shantae for having for coming on with us as well.
Yes,
hey, before we get into
her.
these, yes, hopefully she will be back for more. She is a local cosplayer, so hopefully we will see her at some events as well. I did want to mention right now before we go into our outros, Kyber Cave, for the next 2 months, we are having 20% off sale on everything on our website. And the big purpose for our 20% off is we are doing a fundraiser. In fact, that the link to the fundraiser, a GoFundMe, is in the description down below. But it is for one of the producers of our channel, Jon. He's been fighting for a couple of years with insurance companies. He's had problems with his wheelchair. And his wheelchair is very close to breaking, and he has specialized needs that he has to use these wheelchairs. So we are doing a fundraiser to help raise money for Jon. On top of the 20% discount everybody gets for going to the website, 20% portion of that sale will also go towards Jon's GoFundMe. So Kyber Cave is raising money for the next 2 months for Jon's new wheelchair. If you would like to contribute, or if you would just like to share the message and let other people know, that would help a lot too. But please help one of our producers get something, and it's not like it's a cool electrical, wheelchair. It's something he needs to survive. It's not even anything that extravagant. All right, let's start with Graveyard. You are already over there.
Yes, so I am Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod at Night, Mostly podcast. We release new episodes every Wednesday at midnight Central. You can find us on all social media at Pod Out at Night. So that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On top of that, you can obviously find me here at Kyber Cave Productions with Retro Alcove, which is a pre-recorded show on Mondays. Gaming Live with Fourzze and other friends on Thursdays here. And I don't know, we're ready to say the next thing yet, right?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm excited about it.
So not tomorrow, but the following Saturday, we're starting a new show called the Saturday Morning Nerd Out, where we're going to be discussing. It's going to be a live show, 10 Pacific, at 10 a.m. Pacific. We're discussing a couple choice topics, nerdy stuff here and there, movies, TV shows. We're going to have a horror corner, and each week we're going to have rotating guests of who's going to talk about a theory or just a topic nerdy that they want to discuss on the show with us. So on top of that, make sure to check out our Patreon just for as little as $1 a month. You can enter and get some free swag, help support the channel, help support us to bring you new content. On top of that, join our Discord. You want to talk nerdy to us, please. We want to hear you guys. We want to have polls up there. We want to build this community of our cavers and dwellers here with us.
All right, Frey.
Hi, I'm Frey Girl, and you can catch me here on Fridays. I'm also, I also co-host. Well, unofficially, I'm the prime intern. What would you say that?
I forgot to mention them too. Damn it!
intern prime on Distant Nerding.
Yeah, on Distance Nerding, I do their Tuesday show, which is the download, and their Thursday show, which is the build. The one we just did last night, we did an interview with the production team for the Paper Tigers, the movie that came out in 2021. Yeah, and they were just fantastic. It was just an amazing interview. So if you guys want to check that out, please do, because it was so fun to do. So hopefully
I just also mentioned we're doing March Nerdness this month too for the brackets. So go back to Fred.
So yeah, and I know I'm going to be on the Saturday Morning Nerd Out with Graveyard, so expect to see me there. That is totally my wheelhouse. So I will have tons of theories, and they're going to be really way out there and wacky. Yes. So although my current Mandalorian theory is looking a little better now that I mentioned on Distance Nerding, I just had to say that because I'm excited. All right. You can find me on Twitter at FreyGirl. Instagram, I'm Gotham.Oracle. On Instagram, I'm Gotham_Oracle. On TikTok, I'm Gotham.Oracle. I'm not really on Facebook. I mean, I am, but I'm not. So that's probably not the place to see me. I'm in the Discord there. I do a lot of stuff for New Rockstars. I'm a mod in their Discord, and I also mod their live show, The Break Room, Monday through Friday. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I do that. So you can see me there if you want. They have a Discord. You can talk to me there. You can talk to me on our Discord. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Miss Aubrey.
Hi, I'm Aubrey, as you can see over here. I'm part of a somewhat part of a band. No, we do have music we're releasing. We're working on a third song. I also write music for couple of these lovely channels somewhere. I play games. I play games with Mets on Wednesdays. And speaking of games, we got some caving to do.
Got some caving to do.
Come on, Dampy. We have some caving to do.
Man, the seventh guest that you guys were playing, oh my gosh, I loved it. I was like so riveted. I was like, okay. All right, come on. What's going on? It was just hilarious, and y'all's reactions to stuff was just hilarious too. So, sorry, keep going.
That's because M's just awesome. No, it's fine. I don't care. Like I'll go and promote Em all day. She's amazing. Hello, we are such good friends. Like she's just so awesome. I want to gush how awesome she is, but I'm not gonna do that. But I am because she's amazing.
She is amazing.
She really is. But yeah, I have music. You could go and look at my music. I'm on my personal Instagram is Luthien the Fair. Luthien the Fair. You can find a lot of my photography. You can find a lot of my paintings are on there. And of course, there are. I do have some photos of my acting stuff. Yeah. So basically that's it. You can look me up on Spotify. I'm on quite a few things. I'm on YouTube as well here at this channel. We do have a show that I will be running in soon here, where we haven't gotten a date yet, but we do have a teaser for it that will be produced, and it's coming out soon. It will be a role playing channel, or not channel. What am I saying? A role playing show of a book that myself and my best friend have been writing for years, and it is a role playing system and a role playing game. And a lot of these lovely people are going to be playing in
it. That's going to be a ton of fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Ark, you can join us, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You can always be a guest star if you want.
I'm really bad at D&D. All right. Rubik's.
I'm Dark Phoenix tonight, and I can't control it. Oh, God. Okay, anyway.
Yes.
You can find me mostly on here. Mostly. You can also find me if you're in the Lodi area every second and third Wednesday at Blend Ultra Lounge, where we have my only drag show. You will catch these girls there at that for the near time future. I don't know if these are meant for summer though. Honestly, like I was sweating bullets the other day. I'm like, fuck, it's cold and rainy. Anywho,
that's good.
I suck at all the social media. Like you can find me on Facebook, sure.
Oh, we also are Queens and Fours.
Great. I will never see your messages. I'm so sorry. I am the worst person when it comes to technology. And it's just because I emit this EMP field that, destroys all of it. So
you should see the channel log of us me trying to get a hold of him. It's
Thank you for dealing with my epic cleavage tonight. Or lack thereof. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great night, and I hope to see you guys next week. I hope that Tay comes back and we can collaborate on some epic cosplay shit together, because wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
I'm gonna come as Rogue. She can be Gambit, or vice versa. I'm down for whatever's clever. But yes, it's always a pleasure and honor, privilege to share the screen with all of you lovely people. Thank you for letting me voice my opinions that if I didn't get them out of my head, I might actually go fucking crazy. So it's all good. It's all good. It's gravy.
We love having you here every week. All
Anthony,
right.
And I'm so excited for 2 Queens and a Fours. Sorry, I had to.
Yes, I know. Okay, I've been playing Dragoon on my own now that's on PlayStation 5, and thank God they fixed the bug. So now the magic's doable.
We need Levitts. We need some more Levitts.
We need more Levitts. Absolutely.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah, make sure to check that out. That will be Thursday nights. Really quickly, I want to give quick shout out and love to our boy Fourzze, who is usually here with us every week, but he is on an epic adventure right now. Hopefully we'll have him back next week. Make sure to check out the Gaming Alcove on Monday nights. Tuesdays, we've got the Beatdown. That's lightsaber battles and a DJ. On Wednesdays, we have Mets in the morning playing video games, often with Aubrey. In the afternoon on Wednesdays, we have Hearts of Kyber. Thursdays belongs to our boy Fourzze, whether he's doing 2 Queens and a Fours or he's just hanging out with Miss Aubrey or whoever. Or it's oftentimes it's Graveyard too. Graveyard, you'll see him on multiple days. Fridays
we're doing a very special live stream. Yeah.
Kyber Cave After Dark here at 8 p.m. Next Saturday, we have the Saturday Morning Geek Out starting at 10 a.m. And then Sundays is Saber Rattle. 7 days a week, dude. That just absolutely blows my mind, guys. Original content 7 days a week. You can't ask for more than that, especially since, we're not asking you to pay for this. That's a nice little tie back.
Yeah.
What's up, Hotel Sierra Productions? So for all of us here at Kyber Cave After Dark, we want to thank you for hanging out with us on a Friday night. Say Wong, thank you for not giving me too much shit tonight. I appreciate that. Got a little bit of it right there at the beginning, but not as bad as usual. So we won't see you this Saturday, but Sunday night on Saber Rattle, we have Kang Snow, who is the president of Lightspeed Lightsaber League International. So he will be on our show talking to us. He's a really cool guy. So I'm excited for that one. Bye, guys. Bye, Charles. All right, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Adios.
See ya.